Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome to SRN Live Television. I am Kevin Hezeki, host of the Political Corner, and today we have an amazing show. But before I go any further, please let me thank our sponsors who have made this show possible, and they are Zelina Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Revolution Mills, Renovations. Now, Source Nation, if you like to advertise on our television network, contact Kathy B at KathyLynn1971 at Gmail or Tracy Jeffcoat at Gmail. And that's KathyLynn 1971 at gmail.com or TRECIEJEFFCOAT at gmail.com. Now, as I said, we got an amazing show for you. And today I will be recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un's historical summit. So I'm pretty sure y'all had tuned into that on when was that? I think that was Monday. That was Monday night for us, and it was on a Tuesday for them. So just 6 months after trading threats about their respective nuclear buttons, President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met in Singapore on Tuesday morning, which is Monday night in the U.S., which we're 12 hours behind them. It was the first ever meeting between the two leaders of the U.S. and North Korea. Now, Trump's decision to leave Singapore 15 hours ahead of schedule raised new doubts about the two nations' ability to make any substantive progress, and it seemed they were warranted. The meeting produced several great photos, so if you want to check that out, you can check the photos out online. And they also had specific comments on denuclearization. But Source Nation, we're going to recap this meeting. We're going to recap the meeting. So I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back from the break, I will discuss and go straight into our topic and recap the Trump and Kim Jong-un historic summit. All right, so Source Nation, stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to the Political Corner with me, your host, Kevin Hezeki. And our topic today, we're recapping the historical summit of Trump and Kim Jong-un, the North Korean dictator. Now, I'm going to go right on into this discussion here and we're going to recap everything that happened on that Tuesday, which was a Monday night for us. Now, President Trump showered Kim Jong-un with praise just after meeting with the North Korean dictator, calling him very smart with a great personality. but wasn't done. In the interview with Voice of America's Greta Van Standard hours later, Trump went even further, declaring that Kim loves his people and brushing off concerns about his well-documented history of human rights abuse. Trump goes, I think he likes me and I like him, and I understand the past, and nobody has to tell me. He's a rough guy. He has to be a rough guy, or he has been a rough person, but we got along very well. He's smart, loves his people, he loves his country, he wants a lot of good things, and that's why he's doing this. And so Van Stern goes on, but he's starved them and he's been brutal to them. He still loves his people. And then Trump goes, look, he's doing what he has seen done. If you look at it, but I really have to go by today and by yesterday and by a couple of weeks ago, because that's really when this whole thing started. Again, without the rhetoric and without the sanctions were very important. The sanctions are going to remain on until such time as we see, this is going to happen. And we pretty much see that now, but the sanctions will remain on until we really start dismantling or dismantle the nuclear weapons. Now, Trump's comment can be interpreted as a kind of praise. The words rough and tough are Trump speaks for the kinds of brutality he considers necessary. Now, Trump had previously said he spoke about human rights during the meeting with Kim relatively briefly. Now, an American president sitting down with a North Korean dictator may have been unprecedented, but as many commentators pointed out, the language of the agreement the two leaders released seemed familiar and not in a hopeful way. The United States and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea committed to establish new U.S. DPRK relations in accordance with the desire of the peoples of the two countries for peace and prosperity. To the United States and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea will join their efforts to build a lasting and stable peace regime on the Korean Peninsula. Now, reaffirming the April 27, 2018 declaration, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea commits to work towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to the Political Corner, and I am your host, Kevin Hezeki. And our topic is we're recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un's historical summit. Now, moving right along. Now, at his solo press conference and that morning, President Trump vowed to discontinue joint military exercises with South Korea, which he called provocative, as a concession to Kim Jong-un. But he apparently hasn't consulted his allies before making this bold declaration, as evidenced by South Korea's response. Now, a South Korean Blue House spokesperson said, at this moment, the meaning and intentions of President Trump's remarks require more clear understanding. Now, a spokesman for U.S. forces in Korea told the military newspaper Stars and Stripes that the command had received no update, guidance on execution, or any type of training exercises. The next one is scheduled for August. Now, Trump closed his freewheeling press conference by saying he and Kim will probably need another summit to discuss North Korea's plan for denuclearization. We're much further along than he thought they would be. He said that he really believed Kim is serious about denuclearization, but acknowledged he may be mistaken. He said that he may stand before you in 6 months and say, hey, I was wrong, adding, I don't know that I'll ever admit that. Now, Trump saying in 6 months he might find out that he was wrong about Kim Jong-un, but won't say so. I don't know if that I'll ever admit that. I'll find some kind of excuse, is what Trump said. And now, also, what went on was the U.S. will suspend military exercise with South Korea. Now, at the solo press conference, President Trump also revealed a big concession to Kim that wasn't included in the documents the two leaders signed. The U.S. will discontinue its joint military exercise with South Korea, which have long railed the North. When questioned about his repeated praise for Kim and failure to address North Korea's human rights abuse that led to the death of U.S. college student Otto Wartenberg and many others, Trump defended his remarks, saying Kim's rise to power shows he's very talented. He said also Otto did not die in vain, claiming his death is what sparked the summit. All right, so if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Political Corner. I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki, and our topic is recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un historical summit. So you know, if you notice, on Monday night, that's when the summit took place, which was on Tuesday. Singapore's time. All right. So I don't know how y'all all feel about it. I mean, a lot of people are making this seem like Trump has done a great thing. You know, and if you notice, Dennis Rodman was there as well, and they claimed that Dennis Rodman had a little bit to do with bringing this together too. But Dennis claimed he doesn't want the credit. He just want to be able to bring sports over there and for them to play basketball. And you know, and when Dennis Rodman was being interviewed, he started crying because he got emotional and was like, "Oh my God, this is a historical moment, this and this and that." And you know, Dennis Rodman, man, you know how he is. But anyway, and at the same time, he had that "Make America Great" hat on too. So hey, we're gonna keep on moving right along and discussing this and recapping everything that went on. Now, though both leaders had departed, the text of the statement they signed still hasn't been released, and journalists resorted to zooming in on photos of the text. President Trump committed to provide security guarantees to DPRK, and Chairman Kim Jong-un reaffirmed his firm and unwavering commitment to complete denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula. Now, 4 points of the Trump-Kim's declaration. All right, and we're going to touch on these 4 points. Let me get a drink of water here. Now, the 4 points of the Trump-Kim declaration. The first point is the United States and the DPRK committed to establish new U.S.-DPRK relations in accordance with the desire of peoples of the two countries for peace and prosperity. All right, and 2, the United States and the DPRK would join their efforts to build a lasting and stable peace regime on the Korean Peninsula. 3, the third point, is reaffirming that August 27, 2018, the Panmunjom Declaration, the DPRK commits to work towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. And the fourth one was the United States and the DPRK commits to recovering POW and missing in action remains, including the immediate reputation of those already identified. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Political Corner, and I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki. And our topic is we're recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un's historical summit. It's pretty much going down to where they're having a discussion to get rid of the nuclear weapons, and they pretty much, that's what they pretty much focused. I feel the main conversation they had was denuclearization, getting rid of the nuclear weapons. Now, when asked what surprised him most about Kim, Trump answered, "Great personality and very smart. Good combination." And he added, "I learned he's a very talented man. I also learned that he loves his country very much." Now, that's Trump's heap of praising on Kim. So I'm gonna go back to the top here, and since we're recapping this, I'm gonna go back up to the top, and we're gonna go in to the recap. Now, the first thing we're recapping is it's when they first met. They did the handshake that day when they met up. Then they also got together, and Trump started saying he loves how Kim loves his people, and how much of a great personality Kim Jong-un has. And instead of not taking the initiative to understand that he starved his people and brutally beat them, but Trump said he loves his people and he has a great personality. Then the experts note similarities to previous North Korean promises. That's when they sat down and pointed out the agreement the two leaders were getting ready to get underway. And they were talking about the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the United States committing to establish a new relations in accordance with the desire of the people of the two countries for peace and prosperity. Then it goes on to South Korea confused by Trump's war games committed, because Trump pretty much vowed to discontinue joint military exercises with South Korea. And South Korea didn't know anything about that. And then Trump goes on to say he may be wrong about Kim. And this is when he says that North Korea plans for denuclearization were much further along than he would have thought. But he said that, he may stand before you in 6 months and say, "Hey, I was wrong." But he said he don't know if he ever admit that. And moving right along, and the U.S. will suspend military exercises with South Korea. Once again, Trump is saying that he's revealing a big concession to Kim that wasn't included in the documents the two leaders signed, pretty much saying that the joint military exercises with South Korea will no longer be, that he's going to discontinue that. And then the next thing we're recapping on here is how the two leaders, before they departed, they came up with a commitment to provide security guarantees to the DPRK. and commitments to complete denuclearization to the North Korean peninsula. And then we touch bases on the 4 points of the Trump-Kim declarations, and that was how they established a new U.S. DPRK relations in accordance to the people of the two countries for peace and prosperity. They joined their efforts to build a lasting and stable peace regime. 3, reaffirming the April 27, 2018 Pyongyang Declaration, the DPRK commits to work towards. And 4, the United States and the DPRK committed to recovering POW and missing in actions remains. Now, moving right along here, Trump heaps praises on Kim, and he said, that once again, he said it was a great combination, and that the person that Kim Jong-un had a great personality and is a very smart man. Then Trump and Kim signed it. Trump called the document very comprehensive and historic, but its text still hasn't been released. Now, you will be seeing everything in just a little while. The letter that they signed is very comprehensive, and both sides will be very impressed by the results. And Trump also agreed to that and was saying that we all, once we see the results, that we will be pleased with the results of what was going on. Now, Trump and Kim to pledge to keep up momentum. Now, a U.S. official told a reporter that Trump and Kim will only be agreeing that the talks made progress and they should keep the democracy going. So there won't be any surprises, any announcements on denuclearization, but there will be commemorative Trump pins. Commemorative Trump pins. So in Singapore, a desk has been set up in the Capella Hotel with 2 chairs and 2 pins. The pins are black and inscribed in gold, and the inscription appears to be Donald Trump's signature. Now, moving right along, Trump shows off his ride to it. So Trump took Kim over to his Beast and let him take a look inside. The Beast is what they call Trump's SUV. And if you go online, you'll see how Kim Jong-un was getting a look inside the presidential limo. So that's one thing they did. As we recap, Trump wanted to show him his presidential limo. Now, Trump teases signing. Now, during a post-lunch walk, President Trump said, "We had a really fantastic meeting, a lot of progress, really very positive. I think better than anybody could have expected. Top of the line, it was really good." Then he says he and Kim are going to a signing, but ignored questions about what that meant. Now, then Trump jokes with the photographers before sitting down for lunch. Trump equipped to photographers, very nice, getting a good picture, everybody. So we look very nice and handsome and thin. That's what he said. He said that him and Kim Jong-un look very nice, handsome, and thin. Kim did not look amused, but it's possible he was confused. According to the pool report, he smiled when he sat down. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Political Corner, and I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki. and our topic is we are recapping the Trump and Kim Jong Un's historical summit. Now, I think it's about time for us to take a quick break, and we're going to take us a quick break. And when we come back from the break, we will most definitely pick back up on this recap of this historical summit with Trump and Kim Jong Un. So, Source Nation, SRN, we will return in just a moment. All right, welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to the Political Corner. I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki. And the song you just heard is Just Wanna Praise You by indie artist Ralph Lofton. And Ralph Lofton will be live in the studio this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern for the Spotlight with Teresa Hanna. So make sure you check that out. Saturday, Ralph Lofton will be in the studio with Teresa discussing his projects and his song Just Want to Praise You. All right, so Source Nation, SRN, I'm Kevin Hezeki, and like I said, our topic, we're recapping the Trump and Kim Jong Un historical summit. Now moving right along, once they, got everything going, then they had lunch. About 2 hours into the summit, Trump and Kim were chatting during their working lunch, and pretty much Kim Jong Un and the U.S. North Korean delegations during the expanded meeting, Trump reiterated that it's been an honor to meet with Kim. We've solved the big problem, the big dilemma, and that until this point has been unable to be resolved, and shook Kim's hand again. So like I said, Trump feels like he has really created history. And you know what? Maybe he has created history. I'm not going to sit up here and disagree. I mean, hey, he was able to sit down with the guy, but hey, Dennis Rodman did the same thing a couple years ago. You see what I'm saying? So, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And Trump also told Kim it was a great honor to be with him, and he knew that they were going to have tremendous success together, and it will solve the big problem, the big dilemma, which is the denuclearization of the nuclear weapons. Now, after meeting with Kim probably for about, I think they met for like half an hour, Trump declared that they have an excellent relationship that he and Kim had. According to the White House press pool, after his initial meeting with Kim, Trump said it was very, very good and an excellent relationship. Now, when they were sitting down with the respective advisors, John Bolton, who angered the North Koreans by talking about the Libya model for denuclearization, the two leaders had begun talking behind closed doors for about half an hour. Afterwards, they set to hold a bilateral meeting with their advisors. Now, the U.S. delegations, which includes the White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, the National Secretary Advisor John Bolton, and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, met with their North Korean counterparts as Trump and Kim talked. Now, the two teams were reported scrambling on Monday to come up with a post-summit statement that both leaders could agree to. Now, the U.S. delegations greeted North Korean delegations and watched the Trump and their leader Kim Jong-un meet for the first time. And they also were skeptical about this meeting as well. Now, meanwhile, moving right along, we're getting to the part where we're going to recap where Dennis Rodman was in the news. Now, we know that Dennis Rodman is Kim's old pal, who was also in Singapore. And when Dennis Rodman was on CNN sporting a "Make America Great" hat and a popcorn.com shirt, he got emotional and described the reaction to his first meeting with Kim. He said the president's secretary, meaning the White House press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, reached out to him and said, "Donald Trump is proud of you." And now, so Dennis Rodman from there started crying because, you know, he got so emotional and was saying that this is a great time. And he was saying that in his heart and soul, when he first went to North Korea, he was honored to even be selected to go there. And once he went to North Korea, he didn't really understand what the whole situation as far as being over there. And when he first met Kim Jong-un, he was more like he didn't know what to expect. And he didn't know who he was, and he didn't know what he represented, and if he was someone important. But something was going on. But once he got familiar with the culture and the situation over there, he got really used to being there and felt like it was home. And that's when him and Kim Jong-un became very close. And Dennis Rodman also said, when I first met Kim Jong-un, I was more like, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he represented. And I didn't know if he was someone important. Now, when he got over there and him and Kim met, they befriended each other. And because Rodman had the professional basketball players over there with him to play with the North Korean league. And as far as I know, they said that was a successful meetup as well. I do remember watching some of that game. It was aired on like Showtime or HBO or something like that. They had a special on there, and it was like they all had a great time. The game was like fun. They had a good time over there. So moving right along. Now, once they after lunch, I guess they sat back down and continued to talk about the denuclearization of nuclear weapons. Trump predicted that he and Kim would have a terrific relationship and said it's his honor to sit down with the North Korean dictator. And Kim told reporters that via a translator that it was not an easy path here. There's a history of holding onto our ankles, meaning someone was acting as dead weight. And it appeared there was times that there were unfortunate practices where they were trying to block our eyes and our ears, but we overcome everything and came to this place. Now, when the summit actually begun, you saw where Kim and Trump were shaking hands and both were standing by the flag. And they said that showed respect to Kim Jong-un, which made him more comfortable because he was able to stand by the flag, by the North Korean flag, as well as the United States of America flag. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to the Political Corner. I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki, and we are recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un's historical summit, which took place on Tuesday, Singapore's time, and Monday night, our time. All right, so they said that the body language analysts noted that Trump is being more physical than Kim. That the Trump-Kim handshake, it at least it lasted a lot of touching, and the president touching Kim Jong-un a lot. It's not mutual, but there's a lot of gesturing and touching, and there was a lot of smiling by the president. So in other words, they saying that Trump was doing most of the interacting as far as handshaking, touching, and smiling, and pretty much Kim Jong-un was pretty much like, hey, doop-de-doop-de-doo. Now, they did say that Trump's body language with Kim looked like it was getting on better with Kim Jong-un than with that German Chancellor Angela Merkel or Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Now, when the two leaders arrived at the site, Kim arrived around 8:55 p.m. and Trump showing up 5 minutes later. Kim Jong-un arrived at the hotel location of the summit with Trump, and the foreign pool reporter, according to Korean media, Kim arrived at the summit venue 7 minutes earlier than Trump to show respect, and it was the cultural way. The young one should arrive early than the elder one, is what Kim Jong-un felt should be done. And now, while heading to the summit, Trump broke the news that Larry Kudlow, the director of the National Economic Council, has suffered a heart attack. The 70-year-old, who was not on the North Korean trip, was active in Trump's feud with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau over the weekend. Now, various administrations tweeted feeds, posted footage of Trump departing his hotel and heading to the summit with Kim in Singapore's Sanitos Island. The two leaders met up, and pretty much they claimed that they had a great summit and a great conversation. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Political Corner. I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki, and we're recapping the Trump and Kim Jong-un's historical summit. So I want y'all to go back and I want y'all to revisit this summit. And I would like to know, just hit me up on Facebook and let me know your feelings about this summit. What is this summit? Is this summit making America great again, or is this summit, getting ready to create a nuclear war. You know, because we really don't know, because they say this guy is very, very skeptical. Like he is, you may think everything is good with Kim Jong-un, but it's like his mental, well, from what they say, he's a narcissist. And that, you know, you may think everything is going good, but it's really not. You know, this man has some plans going on. And no telling what this little young guy has in North Korea. But hey, Trump claims he's doing a historical moment and that he was the only president that could talk to this guy and make this happen, and that everything's gonna go good. But he's even skeptical, because just like why would he even say within 6 months I may come back and say I was wrong? You see what I'm saying? So we don't know. We don't know. But anyway, I want y'all to tune in and keep watching this, and we're going to see far as how far this goes. This relationship with Trump and Kim goes. I really hope everything works out for the better for us with this, because you know, these nuclear weapons, as far as my understanding, I heard, and this is just what I heard about the nuclear weapons in North Korea, that all he has to do is hit that button and it can come over here and destroy everything. We gone. You see what I'm saying? So I really hope that this summit was a great summit, and I really hope that both of the leaders are genuine and true to each other, and I hope that Kim Jong-un stands by his signing of the denuclearization of nuclear weapons. Now, Source Nation, you're listening to the Political Corner, and I'm your host, Kevin Hezeki, and our topic is recapping the Trump-Kim Jong-un historical summit. Now, I think it's about time for me to start wrapping things up. But before I leave, I need to thank our sponsors once again, and they are Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant Appraised Worship Center. Now, Source Nation, if you want to find out more about who we are, you can check us out at SRN TV. If you want to know and find out more about me, you can check me out on Facebook at Kevin Hezeki Asar. You can check me out on Instagram at Hezeki Asar. You can also check me out on the Global Agenda Show, the podcast show. You can check me out and check us out on www.theglobalagendashow.com. Now, before I leave, you know I like to give you some type of food of thought. Well, I should say some type of food of thought for your mind. And what I want to leave with you today is this. All right. I close off all easy roads leading to me, but I'm reachable if you're willing to go the extra mile. Now, somewhere along the way, I find a peace within myself. I come too far to allow just anyone to disrupt my peace. People can only get away with what you allow. So think about it. To say, I close off all easy roads leading to me, but I'm reachable if you're willing to go the extra mile. So pretty much you're saying, look, if you want to get with me, I'm shutting off the easy way. But if you truly want to get with me and know and want to talk with me and be with me, you'll go the extra mile just to do it. All right. So SRN, it's been real. And I will see you again next week. Same time, same place. Be sure to tune in also to the Global Agenda Show, which will be on the Podbean platform. You can go to www.theglobalAgendaShow.com and listen to the podcast show, and check me out there. So Source Nation, SRN, it's been real. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend to come. And I will most definitely see you all again next week, same time, same place, with another interesting topic dealing with this political arena and everything that goes on in the political world. All right. So SRN, it's been real. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.